I can clip this here, actually. The Discovery trailer. Do you have any thoughts about the season 3 Discovery trailer? It came out. I watched it once. I don't know if I'm prepared to give comments about this at this point, but if you are, maybe I can feed off of it.
Well, I've poured over every second of that trailer.
Frame by frame.
Thoughts. Yes.
Yep.
First of all, her hair. No. I thought it looked. I continue to be cautiously optimistic about this because I hope that the setting of the far future is enough of a change that it allows them to tell their own kind of stories without being beholden to canon and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Because it's such a strange show that they are at the same time hamstrung by canon, but also don't care enough to be hamstrung by canon. It's really strange.
You mean before they made the time jump? That's the problem.
Yeah. Like they positioned themselves in a no-win situation as far as canon goes, but at the same time they don't really care that much.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how their storytelling changes, if it changes. I don't love the thing where they're like, it has a name. It's called The Burn, because it just seems like another mysterious bullshit thing that they got to investigate that's going to have, a late season twist that you're either going to see coming a mile away or is going to be dumb or is going to be both.
Yep. Or is that the user in the Discord posted that thing where it's just like, they're not talking about Burnham's effect, right? That in the future it's become abbreviated to this. It's kind of like the guy Hodor. It's like Hodor from Game of Thrones. Like it's just lost the meaning over the game of telephone.
God, I hope not. If they did that, it's totally like understanding how ridiculous it is that they do that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping. I'm curious to see how they handle things. My biggest worry is that, I would say 75% of the reason the stuff I like about Star Trek is the iconography and imagery of Star Trek.
Yeah, they have a line in this one. They're like, Starfleet isn't about the ships. It's about us spending time together, motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's also, in that case, not about me watching the show.
Right, I know.
It's because like I get worried that it's going to be like, well, we're in the future. Starfleet doesn't exist anymore, so you're not going to see uniforms. You're not going to see ships. You're not going to see whatever.
Yeah.
But it seems to be that there's some sort of that, at least immediately, they don't jettison all that stuff. So I'm hoping that it can stay Star Trek without completely losing. I hope that if they do lose that stuff, it can stay Star Trek instead of just turning into, season 4 of Lost in Space, or it's indistinguishable from The Expanse or something.
It's got to be about bringing
about The Expanse. I know it's very good. I haven't watched it, but I'm just using it as an example.
It's got to be about bringing Starfleet back, right? That seems like it is the setup where this is a show built around Burnham giving those kinds of sort of like, speeches like the way that she ended season 1 would be kind of the same thing. It's like, we are Starfleet, all that stuff. I feel this is going to be the same as that one. It seems like the structure, at least at this point, is that the Discovery crashes right when they go through the time thing, which I'm kind of interested in. Obviously not enough where they can't fix it, but it's stuck on the planet's surface for the time being. And they have to get around that. They meet some new people and, society's gone to hell. I just don't... My fear here is that if it's a show built around Discovery exploring what it means to bring Starfleet values back, Discovery's never shown that it really cares about that kind of storytelling. Yeah. So it's like, it'll just be a lot of action kung fu sequences, and then in the last episode, Burnham will be like, and we've learned why Federation matters at this point. You go, okay, fine, that's sure, whatever.
I hope they start the season with Burnham talking to the guy from the future, and she's like, quick question. Did that bomb inside of Kronos ever go off?
The burn bomb?
Yeah, the burn bomb. Yeah. But yeah, like there's an element to this that I know it's the same people running everything and whatnot, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like, when you hear stories about when they tried to do Superman in the late 90s or the early 2000s, and whoever the producer was like, I got 2 things. I don't want him in the suit, and I don't want him to fly. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, then what the fuck are we doing here? You know,
Yeah.
why are you making a Superman movie if he doesn't wear the S and he doesn't fly? What else? What's the point? So I'm hoping it doesn't get into that territory where it's like, I don't want him in the ship and I don't want him in those stupid costumes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my major concern, is that if it's about that kind of thematic thing about what it means to be without hope and then to bring hope back into it, it's again, it veers super closely to modern politics at a time where I don't think anyone is receptive to that kind of stuff. Like if it's too closely related to what the current cultural zeitgeist is like, I think people are like, this is annoying, or you don't have enough time to like reflect on it. Really, it's like it'll be so of an era that when you go back to it in 10 years, you're like, that doesn't age very well.
Yeah, this is a little bit off topic, but Amanda and I just recorded Wreck, the Spanish zombie movie, and we both didn't really respond that well to it. We had a hard time getting into it.
I loved it. I haven't watched it recently. I loved Wreck. I thought it was really good.
I had not seen it before. I mean, it's a good movie. It's like I can watch it, go like, okay, I can understand why people like that, but I just had a really hard time getting into it. And one of the reasons that I was thinking that maybe it might be hard to get into a movie like that at this point is because we are currently living through a hastily handled outbreak.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching this movie and I found myself siding with like the shadowy hazmat guys that are trying to shut the building down and like give people shots and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, listen to these guys. I know what's going to happen. Everybody's acting like assholes. I've been watching that every day on TV. I don't need to watch this here. Just somebody trust the hazmat guys who are trying to contain this shit and stop it from spreading.
Why is no one mentioning the CDC guidelines currently? What's happening here? Like we're missing some plot development. Not too much. I still, when I have to come upstairs and the light switch is at the top of the stairs or whatever, and so I'm going upstairs into a dark area, I still picture the monster from Wreck, like coming out of running down the hallway at me or something. Yeah. It's very scary. Yeah.
Not to go too much into spoiling our coverage, but that was the element that both of us actually started to respond to. Like the rest of the zombie stuff, we were like, yeah, it's fine. It's a zombie thing. And then once they got into that weird attic, we were like, oh, okay. Now it's
a very scary final scene. It's mostly what I remember the movie for outside of that. But yeah, it's a scare. It's a good scare. Discovery trailer. Final point. I've mentioned this on Discord and Twitter all the time. I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast. I don't understand why the font mashups are so terrible for this franchise at this point. They keep the Star Trek graphic the same. It's always the same font. And then they change the lettering behind the show name. And Discovery's got a new font. Nickelodeon's is the worst offender because it has the Nickelodeon brand. Yeah. Then it has the Star Trek. And then it has like a kiddie version of Prodigy, I think it's called. It looks terrible. It's like, who the fuck are these graphic designers that are designing this? And why does no one push back and be like, we have to make the fonts look like each other, or at least like complement to each other?
Yeah, I haven't really noticed it too much on the live action shows, but that one, the Nickelodeon one in particular, is egregious. It's objectively awful.
Yeah, it's unprofessional. If you turn that in, you'd be like, this is awful. Like, I'm paying you to do this. But yeah, Discovery has changed its fonts, and it's just kind of a strange thing that they do. I don't know why they do it. It's not like I can't read Star Trek and I need it in that font to like just change it to make everything look consistent. But
it's funny because I very clearly, and maybe it's just a matter of immersion at this point, but like in my head, I know exactly what TOS font looks like. I know exactly what TNG font looks like.
DS9 is iconic to me.
Yeah. Enterprise less so, Voyager less so, but like, those are all fairly iconic fonts at this point. Discovery, gun to my head, I couldn't tell you which one they were using.
Yep.
You know,
I think the Enterprise one, I think, is actually a semi-default font on computers at this point. So you can use the Enterprise one. But the other ones are more designed than that. I think that's why it sticks out. That's it, I guess. Anything else about Discovery's trailer? No, I don't think so. On a scale of 1 to 10. How excited would you be after seeing that trailer? Did the trailer amplify your excitement or decrease it, or did you not change whatsoever for Discovery?
I'd say I'm about the same. Like, there was nothing in it that really piqued my interest more than it already is piqued. And aside from, and the thing where they start talking about the burn, had me giving me my own version
Little burn,
of Discovery acid reflux, where I'm like, all right, they're just going on to their same old shit again. So I'm hoping for the best, but preparing for what I consider to be not the best.
I had a mix. I was annoyed that you see so much of Burnham in the Red Angel suit. I had forgotten that she's in the suit to start that off.
I hope that suit doesn't play into the story somehow.
I hope that thing is. I hope she plummets to Earth and it's destroyed, and she survives because of the shock absorption of it or whatever.
Yeah, I hope it's like Back to the Future 3, where she lands like on a train track. And then she has to get out of the suit.
Right, it's stuck to the train. Yeah, I didn't like that because it reminded me of season 2 and the worst parts of season 2. I liked seeing the ship wrecked for some reason. I can't even really explain why I like that, but I like the concept of Discovery being wrecked somewhere. Didn't like the burn, and didn't mind the Burnham talking to that other guy. That seems to be something that's going to happen. There's nothing really that just felt like an interesting. I was interested because I was like, well, why do they relate to each other at this point? Like, does she meet him immediately going from 900 years in the past? And he goes, that's terrific. Let's have a relationship. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, if it's anything like her relationship with Ash Tyler, yes. Yes, because exactly. It's not built on anything other than plot contrivances. So
we're just going to have flashbacks to 930 years ago of Ash Tyler being jealous that he somehow knows about her in the future with her new relationship, her new beau. Yeah, that's it. So Discovery Season 3 is coming up. That's it for Lower Decks. Thank you very much for listening, guys.
Wait, is that guy, that's not the guy from the short Trek, is it?
No, it's a different, I made that mistake. It's not that character. Okay. It's a different character.
Because I was going to say, if it was the guy from the short Trek, 150%, it would be he saw her picture in the log on Discovery while he was living on Discovery and fell in love with her or some shit like that.
They'll flash back to a clip that they never shot at the time of him looking at the picture or something.
Yeah, watching the same 30-second video of Michael Burnham on repeat 100 times while he was alone on Discovery.